Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. New for 2019 in a combination of sapphire, titanium, and carbon fiber, this is the Hublot Classic Fusion Ferrari GT. Following the tech frame tourbillon, this is designed in conjunction with Ferrari, so Ferrari's Centro Stile actually contributed to the design of this watch, inaugurating what might be the first ever beautiful product from Hublot. Not merely brash, but truly beauty with real grace. Taking a look at the watch, it's 45 millimeters, but you wouldn't know it by the way it wears. It's thinner too, thanks to the new Unico 2 movement, caliber 1281. The watch is 13.6 millimeters in thickness, and the movement itself is actually 1.3 millimeters thinner than the old Unico. From lug to lug, 54.1 millimeters, and feather light, as almost everything here is rubber, leather, titanium, sapphire, or carbon. Throw it on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, and as you can see, it sits low. It'll slide underneath a dress cuff, no problem. The lugs are shaped, and you can see there's a camber or curvature to the case, so at the edge of your wrist, the lugs wrap down rather than flaring out. You can see from overhead, but you can really see from this down the barrel shot that I've got clearance on both sides, and it'll slide underneath the cuff. And although I rarely do this, I can recommend this 45 millimeter watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, Hublot's traditional rubber strap is present and correct. Hublot has been working with rubber straps since 1980 and their very first model, back when the company was MDM Genève and the watch was the Hublot. But here we have a combination of upscale calfskin in black with a monotone stitch and then the rubber on the underside. It's an integrated look, so you can see that the strap actually flares and tapers to match the arc of the case lugs, and then there's also a little bit of swell in its thickness to match the volume of the lugs. We have a buckle here in titanium, DLC coated externally, twin trigger release internally. You can see part of the chassis is that Hublot H logo, and then you tuck the strap in underneath. Once tucked in underneath, the excess strap length hides underneath the clasp, so you don't see it. Also, it doesn't flap in the breeze, so there's no need for a minder loop externally. It is a clever and very secure clasp system. You can also see that, as is the case with these Hublot models, the strap is held to the case by screws, which means unlike spring bars, it can't accidentally pop off and cause a disaster. A little bit more expensive to build a watch this way, but it is more secure. You can see there are recesses on the profiles of the lugs, and Ferrari's Style Center did a very nice job here. Now, it might be a bit of mythology. This might be 90% Hublot and 10% Ferrari, but I can tell you, whatever the build-up, makeup, and breakdown of contributions, somebody should be proud. The use of carbon fiber means that it's extremely good at hiding scratches, hypoallergenic, and very, very light. Because no two carbon blocks have the same weave layup internally or the same fiber layup, once CNC'd out into a watch case, no two will have exactly the same pattern. You can also see that it is a remarkably open, airy, and prismatic case, as I can see straight through to the bottom. The inner case is made of titanium with a DLC bezel, and you can see that the case sits separate from the outer, if you will, exoskeleton made of carbon fiber. We have Torx key style, shall we say, apertures on the pushers. It is a flyback chronograph, so you can reset it and restart it. And as you can see, there is a Cavallino Rampante, or the Ferrari logo, on a crown that is a 1/4 turn to lock crown, endowing the watch with 100 meters water resistance. Quarter turn and it locks. Now, I mentioned it's a flyback. You can reset it and it restarts, so you don't need to stop in order to reset and then restart. You can just fly right into it. The dial is three-dimensional, open, airy, but easy to read. As the numerals outboard, the hash marks for the chronograph and the minutes are quite distinct. Moving down from that ray halt, which has a lovely outer chapter ring in red, you can see that there's a slope down to the cantilevered indices, the radially arrayed Arabic numerals, which are evocative of a speedometer. And then we have a 60-minute register for the chronograph, which I love because most chronograph registers are only 30 minutes. 60 is much handier. The watch does feature stop seconds, and there's a quick set for the date, which is inside the minutes register. Another Cavallino at 12 o'clock. And one of the features I loved about the original Unico was that it was effectively designed inside out. Elements of the chronograph usually on the case back or on the dial of that Unico. And you can see the column wheel right next to the lateral clutch. And you can actually see the column wheel circulating and the lateral clutch moving just below my thumb right here. So all of that theater is on the dial side. What I've also noted is that there is an upgrade to the clutch system. It's now more of an oscillating pinion type, and it has an all-new helical cut cut gearing. So the teeth are a helical mesh, and there's a mating surface on the wheel with which it engages, and the result is the smoothest lateral clutch I have ever seen. You can see there's no jump to the chronograph seconds hand, so this Unico 2 revises the system so that you now have the smoothest lateral clutch in the industry. This is something even Patek hasn't fully mastered, and I am very impressed. Okay, turn it all over. Caliber 1281, 43 joules, automatic winding, 72-hour power reserve. It features a silicone escapement that is unlubricated for long intervals between service and high performance between services. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and then, though you can't quite see it, there I caught it, you can see there is an unlubricated full silicone escapement, which is a credit to Hublot as it improves efficiency, power reserve, and the intervals between service. All of this with a lovely techno-industrial sheen and a Formula One style center lock cap to the rotor bearing at center. Very impressive, 500 pieces, individually numbered, and of course the casket itself holding the movement and the dial made of titanium. Physically imposing, but aesthetically gorgeous, a combination of beauty and brawn. At Hublot, who would have thought? Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Ferrari GT.